back, everybody, with Dr. Larry Ponemon from the Ponemon Institute, and we're going to be. This is the launch. It's official. Larry. I almost feel as though we should have sort of like some confetti or something, to throw
music,
to throw out there. Yeah, big music. A big splash or something like that. Hang on a second. Do I have any confetti here I can throw out? Yeah,
throw it at me.
I probably can. Let's see.
Hey,
there we go.
Just in town for a few days, and I was
There's some
wondering if I could say hi
balloons.
to
I
the
just
doctor.
threw them out there. All right, that's kind of cool.
Yeehaw!
Well, this is our launch, and this is kind of important. And it's kind of big to everybody. Ron has just come in, and he said he posed this question: what types of businesses would be included in the survey? Doctors' offices, manufacturers, consulting firms, other things that you might want to point us to, because a lot of our members may have extensions into those areas.
Yeah, see, I think it's all of the above. When we think about a small business, it could be a car dealership, for example. It could be a dentist's office. It could be a small bagel shop on 108th Street. It could be any of these organizations. You have a computer, you're collecting money, you have credit card transactions. These are the kinds of organizations that may be suffering from cybercrime and not even be aware of it. Or they may be aware of it, but they don't know what to do, even though they know they've been attacked and they have problems. So the key variable is we don't want to limit it to a certain size company, except we probably don't want to have, the mega companies, the companies with, 75,000 or more employees, because, we know what they're doing. We've done enough studies over the last 10 years, but we really know very little about the SMB, and especially the the smaller organizations. So I think that's going to be the beauty of the study and why it's going to make such an important contribution. Again, dentists, doctors, chiropractors, all of the above would be welcome if you're so inclined to participate.
Yeah, that's actually that's probably helpful to a lot of people that are on the show tonight. The other thing is, how long of a collection period do we have? Just so everybody out there is aware, we're all set up to post the findings on March 14th.
Right. We're going to have to work pretty fast, but we're going to do it.
Well, if hopefully we'll have you here in New York talking about the results of all this, and we're going to work pretty hard to get the chambers involved and everybody else. But what is, seriously speaking, how long a period do you really need to collapse this? If everybody came in tomorrow, would you be done?
Yeah, if we got 8 good days to field a study, we could put I say at the Ponemon Army. Remember I said we have a huge company of 44, now 45 employees, plus my dogs. So
the Army.
This is all of those people and the dogs will get it done. But we can probably field a study in anywhere between 5 to 8 days, because it doesn't take a lot of time. You want to not have like a one-day collection, because there may be issues in terms of people who are responding late versus early responders. And people who respond late tend to be a good surrogate for a non-response. So we'd like to do at least an 8-day window. But in reality, is if we had 2,000 surveys completed in 8 days, that would be my greatest wish. But some large number, we should have virtually no problem, completing a report. But I would say no more than a 3-week period, from tonight. That would be ideal.
Would you be able to keep us sort of like up to speed every week and just let us know at the end of each week what we're up to? And then what I can do then is I can report back to the membership, and I can say, hey, look, the first week we got, 100 companies. We got to step it up a bit. Larry needs, 1,000, 2,000 companies to be involved in this.
Joe, it's like the Jerry Lewis telethon. Right?
Yeah.
Every couple of minutes we could just say, look, we're now almost there, but we need another 1,000.
Right.
And we get there. And no, I don't mean to diminish Jerry. I like that telethon. So anyway, the bottom line is we can definitely use your help. We want to make sure we get a good sample size, and every week we can come back at you and say, okay, we're at X, but we need X plus, and hopefully that will motivate the audience to go out and get more companies to participate.
Okay, and we've got another comment here coming in from Gary, who says, okay, with regard to getting the surveys out to the SMBs, do you have some parameters to put around the SMB limit, like maybe an annual revenue amount or number of employees? How will you distinguish between an SMB and a larger organization? And before you answer that, Gary, I don't know if you were on a call earlier tonight, but the Small Business Administration for the federal government defines a small business as 500 or fewer employees.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's where you were going to go, Larry, but I wanted to put that out there because I did cover it earlier tonight.
So that's actually a very good point, a very important point. Typically, if you look at SMB studies, it does vary quite a bit. So one upper limit seems to be about 1,000 or so full-time equivalent employees. Probably the most common metric is 500 or fewer employees. And then some studies have actually looked at 250 or fewer employees. I'm going to take the 1,000 or fewer employees. The reason is I don't want to exclude anybody right now. So to keep the sample size large and to make sure that we are not excluding an interesting set of findings, let's say 1,000 or fewer. But in reality, that 500 number is probably a better guesstimate, if you will, of what an SMB is.
Okay, that sounds good. Gary, I hope that answered your question out there.
Thanks, Gary.
Yep, and if anybody else has any comments or questions, now's the time to do it. In the meantime, while we wait for that to come in, another important thing, because we are InfraGard and who we are, all right, our members from New York across the country are always concerned about propriety, integrity, and, that everything is above the fold, so to speak. All right. How do we ensure that there's not double companies calling up or somebody trying to somehow tilt the survey one way or another?
Yeah. So that is who asked that question, by the way? It's a great question.
That would be me.
Oh, well, hey, me, you did a good job. Okay. So here is the issue. In reality, it's one of the hardest parts of survey research is to make sure that you don't have the professional survey taker. Let me tell you who that is. It's a person who lives on Starbucks $10 gift certificates or, whatever, the gift you get for completing a study. There are technologies that we, in fact, use, like device fingerprinting, that, in fact, are used for security to be able to ensure that a person that responds from a given device, they're not responding more than once. We actually do reliability checks. There are about 4 or 5 secret sauces that we deploy. I can't even tell you what they are because it wouldn't be secret anymore. But we basically do that in order to prevent us from having a response that is heavily skewed one way or that is, in fact, as I said, more than, just the motivation is to collect the free gift or the coupon or to participate in the lottery. So we know these issues exist, and we basically have procedures to ensure that the probability of that occurring is low. But it's not a zero. There are times, and it has happened over and over again to us and every other research company in the universe, that where the respondent is not necessarily qualified to respond. And if that occurs, hopefully it's just one voice out of thousands, so that it's not an overwhelming finding that changes or skews our results. But it could happen. But we're very, very careful. And I should say that the technologies that are available, like device fingerprinting, are a lot better than they were a couple of years ago, and they didn't even exist beyond that. So these types of technologies are making it a lot less likely that someone can slip in a bad survey.
All right, Larry, we thank you very much for that. And, our members really should know that, we wouldn't have even gone to you if we had any questions about integrity or proprietary. And, we have just a great deal of confidence in what you're able to produce. So, we're happy to be working with you. Now would be the time, if you've got any final comments, observations, or anything else that you want Dr. Ponemon to answer or laugh along with me. Now's the time to do it, everybody. All right, because we're just about at the closing of our program. So speak up or forever hold your peace until the next time we have Dr. Ponemon in New York City in March.
Yay!
Right? Yeah, that would be fun. All right, I'm not seeing anything come up on the chat, Larry. Any final comments from you to our members or participating organizations?
Well, number one, I really want to thank you for your participation. in advance of your participation. We want to make sure we get a great sample size, and you're going to make that happen. I get this good feeling. Also, I thank you for your service and making sure that the world that we operate in is secure. And so, that's what really this is all about. And what you do, Joe, and New York InfraGard is just amazing. You really run a wonderful shop. And I know you have thousands of employees that support what you do.
Oh, that's millions, Larry. Not
Millions,
thousands.
but you do a great job, and I want to thank you for it.
No. Okay. So that's terrific. And I know I said we needed confetti before, so here's your confetti.
Okay, throw it on.
There
Come
it
on.
is.
It
It just came down. All right. Enough. It's over already. All right. Dr. Larry Ponemon, thank you very much for coming on with us today. And we certainly do appreciate it. And the study is officially launched, everyone.
Yay, we did it.
There we go. And we're off and running to the races. Larry, have a great evening. And thank you once again. Bye now.
Thank you.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. So...